The Masters List, Part 1. These are 10 gems in my collection that are dark, brooding, that I call masterpieces that I could not live without. If I am grabbing my wife and the dogs and some fragrances, these are the ones I'm grabbing. This is not a cheapie list. This is not a clone list. This is my personal list of my favorite bangers that I just put into my all-time masterful list. This list is subject to change year over year. As new fragrances come in, old fragrances go out. Every now and then, one or two of these get pushed out, but these should always pretty much stay in the masters list, and maybe just the masters list grows. This is part 1. Let's get right into it. Scent Savant, let's go.
Welcome to Scent Savant, and welcome to the sensational world of fragrances, where every spray tells a story and every note captivates the senses. Join me on a journey of olfactory exploration as we uncover the secrets of the most alluring scents on the market. Welcome to
Scent Savant.
Okay, first fragrance on the masters list is MEMO African Leather. Now, I have a 2-for-1 here because this fragrance smells a lot like MEMO's African Leather. This is Mizensir's Celebs Woods. Mizensir Celebs Woods is almost in the same exact fragrance space as African Leather. Now, African Leather has this spicy, warm, ambery, and then cumin note in this. There's a cumin note in this that for some people can be a little bit off-putting. Some people equate cumin with body odor. Now, this is not overly done cumin. This is a beautiful scent. Many people call this a masterpiece. This is more on the niche side. This is less mass appealing. But if you like this but find this a little bit too difficult or a little bit self-conscious to wear African Leather, pick up yourself a sample of Mizensir Celebs Woods. Now, this picks up where African Leather left off with that cumin, brings that cumin down, adds a little bit of sweetness, and it takes the spices down a little bit less and adds a little bit of muskiness. Same sort of dark, brooding, ambery, spicy, little bit of aromatic, little bit of freshness inside of that dark DNA. Both of these are beautiful. African Leather is a little bit more eclectic. Celebs Woods is a little bit more easier to wear, but these are both interchangeable, both masterpieces to me. Both will stay in the collection. Next up, 2 from Xerjoff. This first one is called Richwood. Now, this is basically their inspiration of Chanel's Coromandel. And while Chanel's Coromandel is a little bit lighter, a little bit rounder, that scent is basically notoriously weak. This has taken that same DNA and amped it up. This is a patchouli fragrance with a white chocolate background. So you're not getting a cacao feeling. You're just getting this smooth-esque sort of spicy nature on this little bit earthy, little bit dry, tiny little bit sort of dusty, powdery chocolate-esque patchouli. Fantastic. Best in its class. Rich wood. It smells like the name, Rich Woods. And this is a beast. This is going to give you 8 to 10 hours easy. It's going to sit within a foot and a half after that 3 to 4 hour span. So the first few hours, it's definitely reaching, definitely lingering. Beautiful scent trail, upscale vibes. This is the best in its class, Xerjoff Richwood. Next up, I have what I call the best tobacco in the game. You know, they call Royal Tobacco a masterpiece and best in the game. And while it's very good, it's very hard to like, especially if you're not a super niche head that wants something super difficult and probably going to piss people off around you. And it's one of those fragrances where you can only spray 2 sprays. This was made after Amouage's Royal Tobacco. This is Café Tabac by Aedes Venustas. This was made after Amouage's Royal Tobacco. These guys are very similar, but where Amouage's Royal Tobacco has an off-putting, very difficult to like nature, this makes it super easy to like while still having all of the qualities, the ebbs and flows, where this scent changes 2 to 3 times. It's tobacco, it's woody, it's sweet, it's dry, it's dusty, it's that tobacco leaf. There's a sweetness in here. This is hands down my favorite tobacco, above Tobacco Color by Dior, above Honey Tobacco by Guerlain. I don't have another tobacco that can mess with this. Longevity is good. Projection is very good. It's a very good scent that you can wear in any setting. You can't wear this in any setting unless you just want to do one spray and you still want to be slightly offensive. It's not going to be a note that everyone likes, but this is a composition that everyone will like while still giving the niche heads that quality, that amazing blend. Cafe Tabac by Aedes Venustas. Okay, and I got about 6 cherries. These are the top 2 cherries in the game, Bodacious the Victorious Bodacious and Mind Games French Defense. And if you had to put a gun to my head and I have to choose one of them, it's going to be Mind Games French Defense. And here, I'll tell you why. It's more applicable to more situations. Although Bodacious, I believe, is a slightly better blended scent, we're talking apples and oranges here. This is a little bit more 3D, a little bit more layered, a little bit more textured, just a little bit. The cherry in this smells a little bit more natural. But when I put this on, this is fun, while also can be serious. It just goes into more spaces than this does. This feels elegant. Like, I've tried to wear this with t-shirt and jeans, and it just doesn't fit. While this does fit in t-shirts and jeans, this does fit with a collared shirt or jacket. This does fit in a suit or tie or whatever you want. The cherry is juicy. It's a little bit more drippy. It's a little bit more like a Gushers, like an adult Gushers. There is this dark aspect to this that makes this scent a little bit brooding. It's almost like this is like a Halloween scent because it feels dark, it feels luscious, it feels deep. And if I had to choose a cherry, Mind Games French Defense is going to be my top cherry out of the 7 cherries that I have. Okay, I can't choose between these 3. These are all from the brand Matiere Premier. We have Crystal Saffron, Vanilla Powder, and Encens Suave. I can't choose between the 3 because all of them equally are on the master's list for me. Either way, I'm going to have all of these in my collection as long as I can. Vanilla Powder, just a simple, straightforward, beautiful, deep, strong 10 to 12 hour, long-lasting vanilla that's not totally unique, but definitely not like other things on the market. Has this sort of dusty amberesque coconut in the background. It has this ambroxan that you can definitely smell that's pushed in the background, but adds this oomph, adds this sexiness, adds this muskiness, has a deep musk in it. Encens Suave, reaching up to the top incense in the whole game. And it calms down and adds some sweetness. So it's not churchy. It's actually fun. It's actually playful. Can actually be serious. 10 to 12 hours. The projection and foliage is amazing. Lasts all day. And they have the extrait. I've tried the extrait. I might just say this right now that the extrait is hands down the best incense there is, I think. That being said, you don't need to get the extrait. It's much more expensive. You're basically getting the same thing. This is a little less rounded, but still just amazing. And I don't see a need to get that right now. Maybe next year I'll grab that. Encens Suave. And finally, Crystal Saffron. If I had to say one of them out of all of them, it probably would be Crystal Saffron. Best saffron I think I've ever smelled. I actually have the extrait. The extrait is also more rounded, a little bolder, a little darker. You don't need to get both, only if you're a saffron freak and lover, maybe a collector. But otherwise than that, Crystal Saffron lasts an ridiculously amazing long time. Foliage is beautiful. Unisex, straight down the middle. All of these are unisex, straight down the middle. I've never had anyone say that they don't love these, like love them, ecstatic, raving reviews when wearing them or putting them on. Crystal Saffron. Get a tester of that one. Okay, next up on the master's list, dark and sexy, Amouage Reflection 45. Middle Eastern incense, juicy, drippy, sweet, gorgeous, luscious, mouth-watering blackberry. Fruity note in this that is unmatched. You can't dupe this. There's not a company in the world that can dupe this. They can't even get close. A lot of fragrances can be duped, but this one, Reflection and Reflection 45, cannot be duped. I don't know why, but nothing ever comes close. It always smells synthetic. This is supernatural. This is king scent. This is king stuff right here. Middle Eastern meets America meets beautiful. Amouage Reflection 45, deep incense, very drippy, juicy blackberry, very fruity. That's basically what you get from this. Delicious. Next up, the fragrance that replaced Kilian's Angel Share for me, Xerjoff's Toni Iommi. Now, I want to say that I did not like this scent when I first smelled it, because when I first smelled it, I only smelled it from the cap, and I was like, oh, this is like smelling this from the cap right now. This does not smell attractive. It doesn't smell horrible, but I'm like, nah, I don't really want to even try that. You feel like there's this dirty patchouli and this leather, and the notes are just mingled and mangled. And then when I sprayed it on skin, it even smells different in the air. When I sprayed it on skin, that's when the magic happened. And sweet, woody, patchouli, just sexy, a little bit leather in the background, spices, and that sweetness, like Kilian's Angel Share or Wojan, added with depth. There's a cinnamon note in this. There's an apple in this. This is amazing. Replaces the sexy vibe of the ever so popular Kilian's Angel Share for me, where that is very mainstream now and very kind of just linear and one-sided. This is multi-dimensional. This is niche. This is unique. Not many people are going to smell like this, but it's still going to be familiar and still give you those same vibes. And this is Xerjoff's Toni Iommi. On the masters list. Can't beat it. One of a kind. Ridiculous longevity and sillage over 10, 12 hours. The sillage is perfect where it's not reaching past a foot or two, because if you did, you'd be abrasive and oppressive with this fragrance. Very strong fragrance. And last on part one of the masters list is Titziana Terenzi's Lynics. This is what I call a hidden gem. Woody, earthy, slightly sweet, labdanum, amber, slightly citric, warm, spicy, slightly powdery from this deep iris. There's two types of iris in this. A little bit of violet, so it has a slight floral for this uplifting character. This is elegance, sophistication, and pure seduction in a bottle. This is the confident person that has money in their pockets. They don't flaunt it. They're wearing a nice jacket with a nice liner. They're wearing a suit and tie. They're wearing a collared shirt. They're going to an event. It's a night out where you want to smell unique, and you want yourself to enter before your fragrance enters, and then your fragrance enters and you steal the show. This is a showstopper. Longevity on this is amazing, frighteningly good, over 10 hours. There's this play on this iris character that's a little bit makeup baggy, a little bit powdery, a little bit orris creamy, and this ambergris, this very natural ambergris that doesn't give you this seaside vibe. It just adds to the composition and adds a liveliness and the sparkle. There's some creamy sandalwood and some musky undertones in the bottom. There's a patchouli. At the top, there's a tiniest bit citric fruity. There's some florals. An amazing scent, hidden gem on the masters list that will always stay on the masters list. Titziana Terenzi Lynics. Okay, family, thank you for stopping by. This is part one of the masters list. I just couldn't put 30 fragrances on there. So we'll come out with the others. I hope you see some things that you like. Let me know in the comments what you like. What is your masters list that's always going to be in your collection? So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, shoot some comments, hit that notification bell. Let's keep rocking. Happy holidays, everybody. Scent Savant, we out of here.